Okay, so thank you for having us, Yael. My name is Alec. I am the business dev lead at the DAV Foundation, and this is Lior, our product manager. We are here to come and talk to you about the DAV network. So DAV is the meaning for decentralized autonomous vehicles. What we are creating is an open source protocol for the transportation industry, which will basically enable vehicles to discover, communicate, and transact with one another all over a blockchain protocol, and will be used, or the blood behind this ecosystem will be a token that we're creating, which is called DAV. As the blockchain technology develops, we realized at the DAV Foundation that it can be utilized not only for economic purposes. What Bitcoin and Ethereum are doing to the banking industry, we at DAV are doing today to the transportation industry.
So I'll just add that, you say that it's autonomous vehicle, but we're not only setting the ground, we also set the ground for the transportation of the future, but we're also working to disrupt the transportation of today, the current network.
Yeah, and basically when we talk about a transportation network, we try to isolate which elements are part of it. So we got the vehicles, the vehicle owners, the users, the app developers, and even the companies that create this mega network, which is all moving to their own ownership in a centralized model. So we're coming to disrupt that. So for example, we're just gonna go through what's happening today in tomorrow's world of transportation. So what we see here on the screen is a company called Copter Express, located in Moscow. What they're doing drone deliveries of packages up to 2 kilograms in the freezing cold. We got another company called Grad that actually enables drones and aircrafts to have a safe route of flight, because we have some air that is restricted, that is not worthy or not accessible for regular commercial flights, so they give you a flight vector to use for your drone. We have another company in Germany, and that is called SkySense. What they do, they create wireless charging pads for drones, both indoor and outdoor. A drone, you can place your drone on the pad and you can charge it exactly like your phone. You got a company in Australia and Malaysia that's called Black Tattoo. Black Tattoo creates this little piece of hardware you put outside your doorstep, and it is a beacon for the drone. The drone sees the light and lands safely right outside your doorstep.
So what Alec showed here is basically, it's one scenario of drone delivery mission, right? So if you go over quickly, just to get the idea. So the drone company can use mapping services, to fly safely in an urban area and charge during the mission and land at the drop of destination and put the package at the doorstep of the client.
Yeah, so exactly. So what is common between all these companies, right? We just, as Lior said, witnessed an ecosystem for delivery with the drone. That's at one vertical. So what's common with all these companies we saw? So all these companies decided to adopt the DAV protocol on a global level. All these companies, we call them the DAV Alliance. It's a consortium of different technology vendors from all around the world, anywhere from drones to boats to even little rovers in Europe that do rescue missions. All of them are operating under one umbrella. And what's interesting about the DAV Alliance is that these companies that never heard of each other can start operating in a trustless environment by using our protocol. I'll give you, for example, Coex, which is Russian, and SkySense is located in Italy, never had a commercial connection or even a technological probability. While they are in the DAV Alliance or the DAV Consortium, they can actually start operating and expand their reach, their autonomous reach, and both their, let's say, commercial reach. So I'm going to take it to Lior, and he's going to explain more about our different products and how we're utilizing the DAV protocol.
Yeah, so as Alex said, we're using blockchain technology, and to be more specific, we're using Ethereum blockchain to allow this to happen. All the members of this transportation industry to be discovered or discover other members in a decentralized area. And you probably ask yourself why decentralized is because, as you saw in the Dove Alliance, these are a lot of companies with very clear business model, and they will just now work with a centralized company. We're trying to be, to set the ground, to be the common language in between them, so this can happen. And using smart contracts, we can allow this trustless cooperation between those companies and users in this network. And what we're building is essentially a communication protocol. So I'll show you some examples. Yeah. So this is one example of what we're doing like with things that already happen nowadays. So an example here is the ride-hailing scenario where passengers can connect directly with drivers in the network. Since it's an open source protocol, it's an open source project, you can also develop your own whatever app for this service, and this is already happening. This is an app that was built for drone deliveries on the Dove platform, and this is Copter Express. So basically, users can order. That allows users to order a delivery and just put. You can show the screen, so you can
the screenshots.
So you can put. You don't see all the screens, but basically you can put the pick up and drop off, coordinates and the size of the package and when it should be delivered. And then you go ahead and discover, different types of drone owners. It can be companies, it can be private owners of drones. And then you can select and basically communicate. So you have the discovery and the communication, and then you have the transaction. So you're signing a smart contract on the blockchain, and then, it starts.
And what's interesting about, for example, the rating system here is that the rating is built from successful transactions that were made on the blockchain. So each user can actually access each and every drone or any transportation provider and really realize where the rating is coming from, how many successful transactions were done, how many transactions needed an arbiter in the middle. So it gives you more information.
Okay, so another one, and this one is, we talked about it, but this is actually going to be a utility very soon. This company called SkySense that provide wireless charging pads. You just need to buy this tiny piece and put it on whatever drone you have, and it can land and charge. So we built an app on top of our platform that will allow you to look for charging stations. And this month already, this company is deploying, and we are deploying, with them in North Italy as a start, to allow to do this, to just open beads for charging and just choose the price and start the charging process.
This was also done in our as an app on our protocol, using our
This
protocol.
is another utility. It's not a POC. It's another thing we're working on, and this is actually pretty interesting. Aside of the fact that this is one of the most challenging thing that drones and drone delivery business are now facing. To fly safely in an urban area is something that we actually came up with just for the fact that we had an alliance member called Grad, that it's not like what they do. They are mapping areas. They're taking photos and then creating, rendering 3D maps by these photos, but this was not their intention at the beginning, but this is an amazing service that now they're going to provide to drone owners and companies that needs to fly in a specific area. So what happens here is the drone owner will just put the coordinates, the start and end coordinates, and then it will receive a list of coordinates in altitudes where it can fly from, right? So if you have buildings and different things, so to avoid collisions, and it should hopefully also help ease the regulation on this.
And it also creates higher autonomous levels for the actual vehicle itself, because you have this basically stamp of approval by an official route planning service.
Yeah, so this starting May, this month, will start in Nevada, where the company is headquartered, and hopefully from there we'll start spreading out.
Our project is generating excellent traction from all around the world. We managed to secure amazing, brilliant names from different verticals within the transportation industry around the world. We got 2 astronauts from NASA that are part of the project, helping us out both in the FAA and SAP. We got Dr. Greg Colvin, straight from the Ethereum Foundation, that he actually helped create the EVM, which enables fast transaction over the Ethereum network. Other names from IBM, Bancor, UPS, and Cisco. Our project is completely open source and free for all. And one of the things we did initially, actually the first thing we did when we set up DAV, was opening a GitHub. And today we can actually see a very robust GitHub with over 150 contributors, constantly adding more pieces to the code and helping out in developing these amazing applications that Lior just mentioned. So
I mean, this one is actually pretty crazy. I mean, I've been working in different high-tech companies before, but never seen like an issue being taken so fast. And sometimes, people are arguing who will take what. And anyway, it just shortens the time it takes to release a feature or solve a bug. And you have minds from all around the world, which is also helping a lot. So it's pretty crazy. And these images are of all of the contributors that are active.
So we're just saying thank you guys for your help on the GitHub. And it's really helpful for our Dev Alliance members, which have a lot of tasks during their everyday operations. And if they have certain ideas or ways they want to progress their technology, we have a very strong army of developers behind us, and it makes life very easy, like Lior just said. Cool, so we're basically done with the presentation. We have here Tal, our CTO and co-founder, which would love to take questions from you guys. And we have our members from our R&D team, all wearing DAV shirts. So yeah, feel free to ask us anything.
How do manned vehicles fit into the DAV network?
What I love about this technology is that the exact same technology we're developing for autonomous vehicles of tomorrow can be used today. So whether your API is sending directions directly to a car, or whether it's showing it on a screen for a driver, for a human driver. So we are talking about really futuristic technologies like drones and autonomous vehicles, but you can use the exact same things for a fleet of tuk-tuks, or a fleet of scooters, or human power delivery. So we are looking to start using this today, and what we're developing we'll be able to use for the upcoming years. So how does the protocol work? So there's 2 components here. There's communication that happens on the blockchain, and there's communication that happens off the blockchain. So when let's say I want to send a package, and I'm looking for drivers around me. So I use an app that speaks the protocol and sends a statement of need. Hey, I need someone to send something from here to there, and our protocol and our technology sends this to drivers around me, directly peer-to-peer to everyone around me, and they're able to respond to me saying, hey, we'll do it, it'll cost this much, it'll take this long. They're able to sign all of those messages using their own unique identity, and I can verify who they are using the blockchain. So I know who I'm dealing with, I know what their history is, I know what kind of, if they've been trustworthy in the past, how they've behaved, and I can do all of that without needing to mine a transaction on the blockchain. I can use the blockchain to verify their identity, but only once they complete a mission do I update the blockchain. So just to query to see who I'm dealing with, it's completely free. You don't have those scalability issues of the blockchain. So that's a communication that happens off the blockchain and allows me to agree on those transactions. And once I've agreed, I can sign a smart contract on top of the blockchain, complete the delivery. The tokens are part of the smart contract, and then they get released to the other party. But the fact that I don't have to do every single communication over the blockchain, I can do it directly between us and use the blockchain to verify and have the exact same level of security that I would have with the blockchain is what allows us to scale this.
I would like you to elaborate on the identity. I think this is a tricky issue because many companies trying to manage identity. So while I know that I am who I am, so I'm an identity, but Do you see a situation that I will have a single key for you and for going to the bank or so? How do you manage your identity? Using like solving self-identity? What is your approach for managing the identity?
So when I'm doing a transportation mission, I don't really care about your identity. I care about, hey, I'm ordering an Uber. I want to know that my driver has already done 700 missions and 700 transportation missions, and he's been rated, excellent on 90% of them. That's what I care. So I don't care who you are. So that's why we call them pseudonymous identities. I want to know that you're the person that did all those good transactions, but that's all I need to know. Yes, you can tomorrow decide to discard that identity and start a new identity because you have a very bad history, but I'll see that you are a driver that has never done a single mission. So if I want to insure that mission, that level of risk for insuring that mission. Why?
You can work without an integrity, you can work without ratings, but then I wouldn't want to work with you.
If I'm an eBay seller, I have my own identity and my own history, or an Amazon seller and I have my ratings, but I can always close that account and start a new one. But having said that, if I want to support something like what you're saying, it is definitely possible. The whole idea behind this is to offer an alternative where you can take a service and break it down and have competition within it. So if you have a delivery service, you can have different service providers providing insurance, different service providers doing the route planning. You can also have different service providers doing the identity verification. So you can only decide to only accept identities that have been verified. So you can have people offering those services on top of the platform. So the question was, why are we open source and how do we make money? So first of all, we don't make money. We're a non-profit foundation registered in Sweden. In Switzerland. And this kind of goes to the question you asked me before of what kind of company we are. So there's two ways to do something like that. You can do this the centralized way, and you can do it the decentralized way. And we believe in the decentralized approach because we want to connect between different companies. We want to have cars from Ford working with General Motors. This is already built by Ford, and it's being built by General Motors, and it's being built in different silos. But there are no open platforms that allow them to work together. And those car companies are looking for those solutions where they can work together. We're sort of a consortium that brings those different business interests and allows them to work together without us competing with them, without us taking any profit, without us taking any fees out of any transaction. We're providing the platform and we're allowing them to have profitable businesses on top of that.
Which company is going to be the first to use your network?
So obviously we're talking with a number of automotive companies already. Those kind of procedures move kind of slow, as do those kind of companies. It's very long cycles, but we have some processes ongoing with them. But we're always looking for something that's a bit faster, something that will have real-world use cases as fast as possible. So two of those cases you've just seen, there was Grad, who are doing route planning services in Nevada. And a small update to our team, just before I came here, I spoke with a number company who's going to be providing the same services in Toronto. And the drone charging network in northern Italy with the German company. But that is part of the point of the alliance. The alliance is here to bring common interests together, but also to allow them to use the protocol.
Oh, I understand that the autonomous cars may be decades away from now. I'm just wondering.
I disagree, but okay.
Sorry? So that's my question. What's your forecast?
My forecast is that my 2-year-old daughter will never need to learn how to drive. I kind of think that learning how to drive and owning a car is going to be kind of like learning how to ride a horse or owning a horse. I'm not sure how far in the future that prediction is. It's probably in the 10 to 20 years. But we are going to be seeing them in the roads in Tel Aviv much sooner than that. But yeah, we understand that this is like something that is still a few years away, which is why a large part of our focus, I mean, the technology is here to enable autonomous vehicles, but the same technology we want to be using today for non-autonomous things, for use cases that happen today, which some of them might be autonomous, like drones, etc., but things that happen today as well. It's really important for us. So the question is, how do we handle security and scalability between autonomous vehicles or connected cars? So the issues of solving security within a car are not within our domain. We only do the communication between cars, and for that we allow every communication that happens between the cars to be signed and optionally encrypted using the same encryption algorithm used to encrypt Ethereum, the Ethereum blockchain, which is a variant of SHA-3. So that encrypts and signs every transaction, so you can fake it, and if you want, you can't read it if you don't have the permission for that. As for scalability, the fact that we allow the same kind of security as the blockchain, but in communication that happens directly between cars using it's a distributed hash table, which is the exact same algorithm used to build Bitcoin and Ethereum, and also before that BitTorrent. It's a very scalable algorithm that allows you to reach all the nodes in the system. I think at one time, BitTorrent was responsible for 25% of all online traffic, so it scales. The issue is with the scaling of the blockchain, and there's a lot of work being done on that. That's why we're working with Ethereum, and we have people from within the Ethereum Foundation. We have a lot of people from the Ethereum Foundation. One of our co-founders was from there. Our general counsel is the former general counsel of the Ethereum Foundation. We have Dr. Greg Colvin, who is the chief creator of the Ethereum virtual machine. We have Nick, who created the Ethereum name service. So we have a lot of knowledge from within the Ethereum Foundation. Having said that, we might see that Ethereum doesn't deliver. It is possible to transition to a different blockchain or a different service.
Very impressive, but I don't have very much knowledge or understanding of the blockchain or some the coin. But for me, do you any plan to stabilize or make your price stable? Whereas normal people, normally if I use Uber, if I use Get here in Israel or in the United States, I just check the price of the delivery. So if the price of the delivery by using your app is very expensive, for example, Ether or your coin, I cannot use that coin. But if I am the rich guy and I have a lot of Ether, maybe I can use it, but otherwise I cannot use it. But that is kind of the good things for token economy. But for the normal people, I think when I start using your DApp, I think that is support.
Yeah.
How do you break the support?
So, yeah, it's a really good question. Two things. So, first of all, by having our own currency, we plan to have, a different currency than the more volatile ones. So you have one that is more isolated than the volatility. But I think this also goes to what I said earlier about blockchain being a technology and not the solution. So we're not purists. We understand that if we want this thing to succeed, we need to build something that will have the kind of user experience that people will want to use. And people aren't ready to like everyday people aren't ready to step into a taxi and pay using cryptocurrency. So if we launch this next month or in a couple of months, which we plan to, not 2 months, but later this year, you're going to pull out your app and you're going to see the price in shekels or dollars or euros, and the exchange is going to happen in the background. And that service of exchanging is actually one of the services that can be offered on top of the network. So that's one of the businesses that can be built on top of that. That's another incentive for someone to build an app that provides that service.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for staying this late. Thank you, Yael, for having us. Thank you, Tal. And feel free to ask any one of us questions, please.